Castle Vale School and Performing Arts College in Birmingham was built in the 60s when power was cheap. It's pretty shabby now and hemorrhaging energy and huge amounts of cash.
Here's one of our 40-something-year-old metal window frames, and they leak in good measure both wind and rain. We've got something like 30 computers in this room and printers as well. When left on overnight, the energy use is absolutely massive.
But things are going to change. We've brought in energy-saving expert Ken Heaton to shake things up.
Deputy Head, lights on, spotlight on, PC in standby mode.
You're looking at savings of £10,000 a year.
Over the course of a single term, Ken, head teacher Clive Owen and NQT Jordan Kelly will try to meet the challenge of transforming the school's culture, saving thousands of pounds and vastly reducing its carbon footprint. Castle Vale is going green. Over 3 programmes, we'll be showing you how this community works to change its culture to become a more sustainable and energy-efficient school.
You have to keep signs from now and then. Don't forget to empty your bins. Put the gate in there.
We'll find out about some simple, free, quick wins. Simply switching off equipment can save a fortune.
That's off and the lights are now off.
And we'll see why simple solutions can still be difficult in practice.
I was hoping you were going to tell me that you'd implemented weekly meter readings 3 weeks ago after I left, so I'm a little bit disappointed there.
So stand by for some genuine insights on what it takes for a school to start going green. North Birmingham's Castle Vale estate has had a major facelift over the last 12 years. £300 million was spent replacing tower blocks with new housing. And more recently, its secondary school has got a new head teacher. 2 years ago, Clive Owen arrived on a mission to raise academic standards. Until now, sustainability has not been high on his agenda.
We're at a point where we can start to be a little bit more expansive about the kind of things we might like to try. And a number of children have come to us recently with ideas about recycling and being a bit greener. But in truth, we're really not very far on the actual green agenda. And it's something that is in the school improvement plan, something we'd like to do to be more energy efficient, to be more organised about those kind of issues. So we're really quite excited by the idea of the project and moving forward to become a greener, more energy efficient school. The lighting we've got in the corridors here, they're not energy saving in any way whatsoever, and they're often left on until 10 o'clock at night. We've still got in this particular toilet the old-fashioned taps, and there's often get a waste of water, they're often left on.
And the heating system wastes a lot of money too. But site manager Martin Field can do very little about it.
The heating system is very old and it's not zoned. The heating's either on or off. Having seen the fantastic boilers that we've got, the other end of the system is these radiators, old cast iron, very inefficient, and no valves for any temperature control.
Here's one of about 15 or so air conditioning machines we've got in the school now. Our problem is, when I'm leaving school of a night time, we often find a number of them just left on, and I have to go round and press the buttons and turn them off. Here's one of our more bizarre issues regarding energy conservation. Up in the roof there, when you look, is our heating pipes. And it's clearly a big issue. It's very cold in here. The heating doesn't have any impact whatsoever. What we can do about it, I've no idea, but a very strange 1960s building.
Picking up on our challenge to get greener by Christmas is NQT Jordan Kelly. He's volunteered to lead the school's drive towards sustainability, a brave move in his first full year of teaching science. He's a man who's passionate about the environment and the contributions schools can make.
When I came to Castle Vale, I noticed that no paper was recycled from classrooms, which shocked me a bit because there's a huge amount of waste.
Jordan set up a green team to get colleagues motivated and involved as soon as possible. It meets for the first time just before half-term.
Welcome to our first Green Team meeting. The main idea is to get every single kid in the school in some way interested and involved. And if that means that they just turn up and do a tiny little bit, that would be great.
I think it's really important that from an educational point of view that they do as much of the research and the writing to people as much as possible.
The new Key Stage 4 science curriculum has a lot of we've written our own schemes of work, but part of what we wrote for physics was kids going home and auditing their own energy use at home and looking at where wastage occurs, such as leaving things on standby, so switching off, how often their lights are left on, windows left open when not necessary. So it ties into that really neatly as well.
I mean, involving it in the curriculum would be really great, because whatever projects we undertake, we want that sustainability, so that it's not just a flash in the pan for a year or two where we're green. It actually carries on year after year after year.
There are lots of simple things that we can do and aim for, such as switching lights off, recycling paper, but I'm hoping we can come up with some really unique ideas using the pupils to help us, because they have got some great ideas.
If his plan's going to work, Jordan knows that it will all depend on his students' enthusiasm and environmental awareness.
You walk up the stairs, you see paper all over the stairs. It's like, how hard would it be to hold it until you get into a classroom and put it into a bin?
The teachers go into the rooms, turn the lights on, go out and lock the doors so no one can turn the lights off again.
Miss Cooney, she left the light on the other day, so I told her off it.
If everybody tries, if they see paper and they put it into a bin, or they see a light on and they turn it off, it could work.
Meet Ken Heaton, energy-saving expert. We brought Ken in to identify where the school was wasting energy and losing money. He's barely said hello before he's on Clive Owen's case about saving electricity.
What you should be doing is that. Your monitor's still on, your base unit's still on, your program's still on, but you've just saved 65 watts there. Just that little button there. That's all it is. Every piece of equipment that we can turn off and save £5, it's £5 to you and your school to spend on books or whatever you want. And on top of that, we're saving CO2 emissions being released to the atmosphere.
That's fantastic.
Clive, you are the key to this. You have to really be a shining example. You have to be not only a green champion, you have to be a green master guardian.
Ken works for a national support services company and looks after the entire property portfolio of the probation service. He's got more than 20 years' experience in energy management, and he's saved his clients millions of pounds.
What my plan of action is today is to carry out an energy audit of the school, and I'm just going to treat it like any other business. Because once we start, this isn't going to stop. Energy management's here to stay, and it's the future. We have to get it right, and we will.
That's fantastic. I mean, have we got some examples that we can give the students of, perhaps in maths or geography or whatever, of the kind of savings we can expect to make from turning off computers or lights and what it might save the school?
Yeah. Later today, I'll do a presentation, and I'll tell them some quick wins on how much how much they can save, both in money terms, and I'll convert that into carbon dioxide emissions, into kilograms, into tonnes, and I'll explain what a tonne of carbon dioxide is, but I'll put it into language that the children can understand.
The green audit starts at the bursar's office. Ken isn't happy to find Lorraine Dowes makes her own tea.
Do we not have communal tea and coffee making facilities on this floor? It just would be nice if we actually get away from actually having kettles in the offices, and we all have one central point.
Yes, you're
because
right.
kettles use an awful lot of energy.
That's right.
We obviously have heating problems because we've got an electric heater here.
We don't use it.
You don't use it?
No.
OK. If you don't use it and that radiator is adequate to heat the room, we actually remove it from the office. Because having it here is just going to encourage people to actually use it. It's a temptation. Wow! Look at the savings in here. Look at it, classic. Large empty room, all the lights on. Lots of natural daylighting from the windows. Nobody here. Oh, there we go. I'm happy with that, because now we have saved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. All we need to do is we ensure that we mark up the switches with some coloured dots here to ensure that when there's no activity, they switch the lights off, and we will save somewhere in the region of £200 a year just by doing that one action. Simple. I'm also a great believer in promoting best practice. This is best practice. Natural daylight round the edges with the windows and the lights off. This is excellent.
Castle Vale's redevelopment has transformed a run-down housing estate. Some of the new houses were built with solar panels. Renewable energy and high levels of insulation are a big contrast to the 60s technology at the school. Local people had a big say in the new estate, and Jordan Kelly tapped into the expertise of the Community Environment Trust. Project leader Alicia Gran Cristobal takes him to a secondary school who've just installed a solar panel system.
It would be nice to have something innovative at the school. I mean, I'm sure most of the kids wouldn't have seen too many solar panels around. It's not like they're everywhere at the moment.
I think it's the first school in West Midlands installing the first solar school actually.
Swanshurst School is a specialist science college 8 miles away from Castle Vale. They've been going green for 3 years now and have spent £4,000 on a system which is symbolic, environmentally friendly and money saving.
Here we are around about 12:30 and the sun is directly on it. Those panels, at this time of the year it's going to go behind that building soon so you can see where the shadow is. But even so, you know, on a November day with the sun, it doesn't seem that warm to me. Those panels are generating heat for our water and that water is saving us money and it's saving the environment, it's saving the CO2.
The panels heat up water, which is piped into the building into a holding tank and an immersion heater. Hot water in schools has to be heated to 65 degrees centigrade to kill off bacteria.
The hot water generated by the solar thermal panels comes into this tank and it says that it's saving 366 kilowatt hours since probably July. If that's a couple of months, we're at 366 kilowatt hours. You know, imagine what that's going to be doing at the end of the year. And it's an easy costing. Temperature, it says here, is 55.9 degrees centigrade. So I've almost got water that is hot enough to use just from the sunshine.
Back at Castle Vale, caretaker Jerry Watson shows Ken the school's water meter.
Between here and the school building, there's a lot of underground pipe work where potentially there could be an underground water leak. And if there was, that would be spinning around quite fast. Just by a quick visual glance at here, it's fairly obvious that we've not got a problem with an underground leak here. Any school that's got an electricity invoice, if you look for the M-band number and it begins with 00, it means you've got interval data, which means you can see the half-hour profiles for electricity every half hour for the school from midnight to midnight. So you can see what time the lights are coming on and what time they're going off and what they're using over the weekend. And if you contact the electricity supplier, they will send you the half-hour data in Excel for a month. Easy. We've got good insulation on the pipeworks, but there are improved insulation we can make on the flanges and valves. You get like Velcro wrap-round jackets to wrap round these and keep them nice and warm and stop the heat loss, because if you feel that, that's very warm. There's a lot of wasted heat coming from there, and just something as simple as that will save a few £100 a year.